All right, so today we're doing something kind of like, I don't know, detective work almost. Yeah. We're looking at Florian Feilmeyer, but not just like a resume glance over. We're talking school records. We're talking what people who worked with him had to say about him, even like LinkedIn, the whole 9 yards.
I like it. Full investigation mode.
Right. Have you ever like seen someone's career path and you're just like, how did you get there? That's what this whole deep dive is about today.
And what's so cool about Florian, at least from what I've seen, is the variety. It's not just like step one, step two.
Totally.
By the end of this, hopefully, our listeners will have a sense of not just, okay, Florian did this, 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 but what kind of professional does that make? What emerges from that kind of background?
Yeah, it's like looking at the ingredients list and being like, ooh, I wonder what that's going to taste like when it's all put together.
Exactly.
So let's rewind all the way back. 8th grade, we've got Florian's school transcript, Deutschen International Schule Toronto, back in 2010. And already there's some interesting stuff. Solid student, good grades across the board, but then at art, perfect score.
It's like that little early indicator, right?
Right.
Even back then, something creative was bubbling.
Yeah.
And then you layer on, he's in orchestra, he takes a Microsoft PowerPoint course.
It's not just being good at it, it's like choosing it, even back then.
Choosing it, exactly.
Yeah.
Drawn to that tech presentation. It all starts somewhere.
And, I mean, you can't discount that multilingual upbringing, right?
Oh, for sure.
He gets, in 2014, a DELFB1 French certificate.
That's huge.
And for anyone listening who's like, what's that? It's not just like, bonjour, madame.
No. We're talking comfortable conversations here.
Exactly.
That kind of fluency, especially in today's world, massive asset. And this whole bridging cultures thing, language, that's going to come back again and again with Florian.
Oh, I love it when there are like little threads throughout the story.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Now, here's where I thought, okay, things are getting interesting.
Tell me more.
So, late 2017, Florian enrolls at the Technical University of Munich, bioprocess engineering.
Okay, so we're in STEM territory now.
Right, so you're thinking, okay, this is the path, but then plot twist. 2018, he switches to Fachhochschule des Mittelstands, FHM, Bielefeld, Bachelor of Arts in Media Creation and Production.
Wow. That's not just a little course correction, that's a whole new route.
Major swerve. And it makes you wonder, what prompted that? What does that tell us about him, that he's willing to go after something different?
And it's not just that he switched, but looking at like his transcript from FHM, this theme of being proactive, it's there too.
Yeah.
Like 3D model aero and animation, 1.7 grade, which parenthetically is amazing.
Excellent, yeah. German grading system, everyone.
Exactly. But then perfect 1.0 in music production. But it's the self-management and self-marketing kind of courses. Those jump out at me.
It speaks to that drive.
Yeah.
He's not just along for the ride. He's like, how do I make this happen?
Ooh! And his Studium Inter Praxis grade, 3.3 for a good chunk of credits. That's not just theory. That's like, I'm going to apply this.
Exactly. Real world stuff. Now, are you ready for the curveball?
Always hit me.
Bachelor thesis. Not your average topic he dives into. The potential of OSINT methodologies for consumer research as a basis for advertising campaign conception in the consumer electronics industry.
Okay, hold on. Pause for the acronym challenge out there, myself included. OSINT. What are we talking about?
Right. OSINT. Open source intelligence. Basically using publicly available data to do research.
So instead of like a private investigator with fingerprints, it's data. Data's the fingerprint.
That's a great way to put it.
So not just creative, but strategic. Florian contains multitudes, apparently. But how does this actually play out in the real world? We've got like the foundation, but what about the building? I don't know. When I hear OSINT and then we're talking about someone who's like into video production, that's not the first thing that comes to mind. You know what I mean?
It's just like this hidden depth. And that's what's so interesting about Florian. He's got both. And we see that even before he's done with the degree, right? He interns at the Terminal Motion Pictures, late 2017 into 2018. So he's doing 2D animation, 3D stuff, even subtitling. But in the testimonial, they're praising his IT skills.
It's like he's got a secret superpower.
Right. And then, late 2019 to 2020, he's at ProSiebenSat.1 Media SE, like major German media company.
Big leagues.
Exactly. And what's he doing? Research, texting for shows like Germany's Next Top Model.
Wait, texting, like writing the contestants' lines?
Probably more like the on-screen graphics, the text elements you see in those kinds of shows.
Got it.
but still, high-profile stuff. And he even did some work for PewDiePie, their R&D channel. And consistently, his testimonials, they talk about his work ethic, how quickly he picks stuff up.
So not intimidated by a fast pace, these big productions.
Truly not. But then there's this other side, right? Because at the same time, late 2018 to mid-2021, he's a research assistant at FHM Bielefeld. And this work gets really eclectic.
Lay it on me.
Live streaming, a design thinking camp, building websites for a school, even creating VR exhibition spaces.
It's like every direction at once.
Right. Shows you he's adaptable, hands-on, not afraid to jump into whatever's needed.
And on top of that, he's a student assistant on this EU project, Cult App, from mid-2019 to late 2021, juggling that.
And EU projects. Those are no joke. They're complex international collaboration, communication across cultures. It's the real deal.
So not just like dipping his toes in, and his role, not a small thing either, right? He's creating video trailers, working with these European partners, doing website stuff, writing, translating, running their YouTube channel, even web analytics he's involved in. It's a lot.
It really is. And it all kind of leads to this moment, January 2022, where he goes freelance, content creator, specializing in no surprise marketing and data. But here's the thing. He's already on board with large language models like early AI stuff and text-to-image generators.
He's not just keeping up, he's ahead of the game.
Absolutely. And then, March 2022, he becomes editor-in-chief at Rear Health magazine, online publication, social good focus. This is a serious leadership position now.
Yeah, different ballgame.
Editorial planning, managing a team, journalistic standards, growing their audience, the whole 9 yards. And, of course, he's bringing in those AI tools because why not?
From, like, hands-on creative to now running the show?
It speaks to, I think, his ability to do both, you know?
Yeah.
But before we go too far, there's this early experience we got to mention. Might not seem like much at first, but from October 2015 to August 2016, Florian worked at Teddy GmbH.
Okay, what's that about?
Now, the specifics aren't as important here, but what it shows is his willingness to take on different roles, learn new things, adapt to whatever the environment is.
Sometimes those less flashy jobs, they teach you the most, you know? About work ethic, teamwork.
Exactly. It adds another dimension to his story. Not afraid to roll up his sleeves, whatever it takes.
Okay, so we've gone from school, internships, these research projects, freelance, even leading a publication. I have a feeling there's more.
Oh, there's always more. Luckily, Florian's on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And that's a gold mine, right?
So LinkedIn, right, it's like the online handshake. What's Florian saying to the world with his profile?
It's funny because, like we've said, resumes, transcripts, that's just the facts version, right?
Totally.
LinkedIn, you get a little more personality in the mix. And Florian, he calls himself a freelance writer and video producer, which tracks. We've seen that.
Yeah, checks out.
But he really highlights experience across all these fields, even mentioning the drone operation, right?
Oh, right. That was just a little detail before. Now it's front and center.
Strategic.
Yeah.
Like, this is a valuable skill. I'm going to own it. Plus, the services he lists, it's a whole buffet of creative and digital stuff. Writing, copywriting, logo design, graphic design, packaging, even career development coaching.
That one threw me. Helping other people with their careers, I feel like that says a lot about someone.
It does. Like, he enjoys that, passing on knowledge, collaborating. And there's this little thing on his LinkedIn really stuck with me. Someone asked a question about creating user-friendly content.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Florian, he's all about direct feedback. He's like, ask someone who's actually your target audience to look at it, use the product, not just assuming he knows best.
That's the difference, isn't it? Between
Right.
just making something and making something people actually want to use. User-centric, love that. But okay, back to the drones for a sec. License, checked it out, valid through December 2022. But beyond like knowing how to fly the thing, what's that tell us about him?
I think it's comfort with tech, but also a willingness to learn something new, right?
Yeah. And speaking of which, he does a Google Digital Garage course, June 2017, boosting that digital marketing knowledge. He's like constantly picking up new tools just in case.
And then there's the Ruhr Games 2021, that student program, not just like watching sports, he's coordinating the live streaming and on the TV production meetings, even operating cameras, directing.
It all connects back, right? Those earlier internships, it's like he's drawn to these bigger products, the energy of it, being behind the scenes, making it work.
And let's not forget, the guy's got a creative side. That logo design competition, first place. Turns out that wasn't a fluke. That actually led to his research assistant position at FHM Bielefeld, where he ended up designing the logo for the Cult App project.
So you got to put yourself out there. You never know what it might lead to.
Exactly. And speaking of the Ruhr Games, it wasn't just about the technical stuff for him. He genuinely loved the experience, even writing about the deep insights into sports, culture, and event management he gained from it.
It reminds you that behind all this impressive stuff, there's someone who, actually enjoys what they do. So, okay, we've deep dived into Florian Failmeyer's world. Where do we even begin to sum that up?
Right. It's been a ride. We started with this kind of detective thing, looking at his background, but it's way more than that. He's got the tech skills, the creativity, but also, I think, a real love for storytelling in whatever form that takes.
And that's what I love about these deep dives. It's not just about the person on the page, right? It makes you think, what's possible, what could be. We've seen Florian's path, but what do you think, listening out there? What kind of impact could he have? What kind of role, what industry would let him really go wild?
We've given you the pieces. Now it's up to you to imagine. And maybe, just maybe, this inspires you to do your own deep dive, not just on someone else, but on yourself. What are your threads, your hidden talents? That's something to think about. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those questions, and we'll see you the next deep dive.